In this small little sling bag, I was able to pack all of my travel photography needs, my camera, my lenses, so that I am able to capture any kind of photos for my upcoming trip. Let me share the content of this bag to you in today's video. Hey friends, Gary here. Welcome to today's video. I'm a big fan of micro four thirds, and as I mentioned before, I will share my travel photography gear for my upcoming trip. I won't disclose the location of where I will travel just yet, but I can tell you that it's an urban destination, meaning that there will be lots of everyday photography, portrait photography of my wife, street photography, and scenery photography. So that will dictate the kind of travel photography gear that I will bring. Hopefully, by sharing my travel photography gear, I can inspire you to come up with your own travel photography camera and lens setup that is tightly dialed in for your own personal needs. Anyway, the goal here today is try to keep it as minimalist as possible, but without sacrificing too much in terms of flexibility, in terms of image quality, and also in terms of photography enjoyment. So these are all the essentials, nothing more, nothing less, and let's dive right into the camera gear themselves. Let's first talk about my primary and only camera for this trip, which will be the Panasonic Lumix G100. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm a big fan of micro four thirds, so everything that I will share today will be mostly micro four thirds. There will be one or two pieces of photography or camera gear that aren't micro four thirds, but they are not strictly for my main photography stuff. They're supplemental, and my primary gear will be micro four thirds. So the G100, there are several reasons why I choose the G100 for this upcoming trip. First of all, it's not that big, it's not that heavy, it is just a little bit heavier compared to my smallest and lightest micro four thirds camera, which is the Panasonic Lumix GF9 right here. And this being just a little bit heavier, now to justify bringing the G100, there are several benefits that this guy offered compared to my smallest, lightest camera. First of all, ergonomics. Handling with the G100 is just excellent. The grip right here provides lots of comfort, especially for holding the camera for a long period of time. The placement of the shutter button, and then also the great manual control of this guy, the ability to change multiple settings. For example, if you're shooting in full manual mode, I can change the aperture with this dial right here, and also change the shutter speed with the rear dial right there. Lots of flexibility in terms of control and comfort. And also it has viewfinder and also fully articulating screen. This really helps a lot for different kinds of shooting scenario. Now in terms of image quality, it has the 20 megapixel micro four thirds sensor. I love the image quality coming out from this guy, and I think after carrying it for multiple travel situations, the G100 will be the perfect choice for my upcoming trip as well. Next, my primary lens. As you've already seen, the lens that I attached to my G100 is the Panasonic Lumix 14mm f2.5, and yes, this is going to be my primary lens, even though it is a prime lens, meaning that I cannot zoom in or zoom out. I think 14mm is very versatile as my primary prime lens, because 14mm is normal wide. It is wide but not too wide, and you can get close and still get a relatively distortion-free kind of look with this guy. And I think for an urban kind of destination, this is the perfect lens for that, because again, I will encounter sceneries, I will do wide portraits of my wife, and maybe just everyday kind of stuff, and some other kind of photography, maybe including street photography, that kind of stuff. So yeah, 14mm is the best choice for that. f2.5 aperture, it's kind of large, definitely larger compared to the kit lens, so meaning that I can get a little bit more background blur and also slightly better lower light performance. Next lens is what I call my vibe lens. If I want something a little bit punchier compared to the 14mm, and it's going to be the Panasonic Lumix 20mm f1.7, another small and lightweight pancake lens for micro four thirds. 20mm is a little bit more zoomed in compared to 14mm, so this is not really for a scenery, it's going to be less flexible compared to the 14, but being slightly zoomed in means more subject isolation, more punch, and that's going to be a great option when I just need something like this. That's why I call it a vibe lens. It's going to make everything look slightly better, even though it's going to be slightly more difficult to use. Image quality with the 20mm is satisfactory. Again, it has large f1.7 aperture. It's going to help with lower light situation and also to get a little bit more background blur. Last but not least is a telephoto lens, and I'm going to carry my favorite micro four thirds telephoto lens, which is the Panasonic Lumix 35 to 100mm f4 to f5.6. It is very small, it is very lightweight, it is equivalent to 70 to 200mm in full frame. This is going to be used mostly for distant landscape or for photographing something that is far away that either my 14 or 20 cannot reach. Being a small, inexpensive lens doesn't mean that the image quality produced by this guy is inferior compared to my other micro four thirds lens. This is actually quite sharp, and I'm always pleased with the results coming out from this lens. Now, as you can see right here, these are all of the camera and lenses that I will bring that I just mentioned to you. The G100, the 14 f2.5, the 20 f1.7, and the 35 to 100 f4 to f5.6. They are small, they're lightweight, and they're very flexible. They can cover anything from normal wide to telephoto, and this is exactly the strength of micro four thirds. For travel photography, you can get image quality that is significantly better compared to the image quality produced by even today's flagship smartphone. You have all the flexibility, but it's not as heavy and cumbersome to use as maybe a full frame setup or even an APS-C setup. The lenses are small, the camera body is small and lightweight, easy to carry. When the gear is smaller and lighter, you tend to carry it more often. When you carry it more often, you take more pictures, and when you take more pictures, you'll get better result and you will improve your photography skill because you have more practice time. So yeah, this is all the benefits of micro four thirds that I keep mentioning in my other videos, and I'm just practicing what I preach. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about my non-micro four thirds cameras that I will bring on this upcoming trip. There are a couple. First of all, it's my DJI Action 4 little action camera right here. I think this will be used mostly for a little bit of vlogging and also for just recording video in bad weather situation. Currently in Indonesia, it is raining a lot, so yeah, when it's raining outside, then I will definitely bring this guy. And as you can see right here, it has the original cage that it comes with some additional attachment points, and right here I have the DJI Mic 2 wireless microphone that is connected to the DJI Action 4 for better audio if I need to talk to the camera. Next non-micro four thirds camera is my phone. This is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5. Not the Fold 7, not the latest and greatest, but this still works fine. In terms of camera stuff, I will use this for recording B-roll because it has 3 lenses, ultra wide, normal, and slightly telephoto, so it's quite flexible. And also for capturing just regular snapshots, not serious photography, but just casual when I'm having dinner with my wife or something like that, where I just don't want to use a dedicated camera. I want to capture some casual moments, not my banger photos, but just documentation in general. And all of the gear that I just mentioned can fit easily inside of this small sling bag right here. This is the Alpaka Elements Tag Case. It's a 2-liter sling bag. This is not a dedicated camera bag. This is just a regular sling bag, and that's the beauty of Micro Four Thirds. Using a regular smaller sling bag, you can still fit a lot inside. As you can see right here, minus the DJI Action 4, I have everything that I just mentioned to you. This is the G100 with the 14mm. Right here is my 35 to 100mm telephoto lens, and right here is my 20mm f1.7 lens. And inside I still have room for some other essentials, my hand moisturizer, my lip balm, my notebook, my pen, my cables, my charger, extra batteries, extra SD cards, and other important travel essentials. So the Alpaka Elements Tag Case is just a small 2-liter sling bag, and it's not a dedicated camera bag, and that's why I love it. There are a couple of reasons why I chose this little sling bag. First of all, 2-liter, yes, that's much smaller than my usual preference. I usually love 5-liter, 10-liter kind of sling bags, and 2-liter might sound limiting. But again, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the video, this is all about minimalism, just bringing exactly what I need, nothing less, nothing more. And with a smaller sling bag, I am forced to not overpack, and I think that is important. Sometimes with larger bag, I ended up filling it with random junks that I don't really need, and it'll just weigh me down when I'm traveling, and I don't want that. So yeah, this is perfect for that. Also, it is weather sealed. The materials, the zippers, they are all weather sealed. Again, Indonesia this time of the year will be raining a lot, so a weather sealed gear is always nice. And then also, not being a camera bag, this is very inconspicuous, this is very stealthy, the design is very minimal, not a lot of obnoxious branding or weird colors, designs that will attract attention. I just love that it doesn't scream expensive cameras and lenses inside. That's very important. Also, another reason why I love this bag and will bring this bag for my upcoming trip is because when I need to work and I don't need to bring my camera gear, for example, if I need to just write some reports down in a coffee shop or something like that with some Wi-Fi, I can just take out the camera and it turns into my tag case, into my tag pouch, where I can put accessories that can help me to work. For example, my Bluetooth keyboard and my mouse, and also my earbuds and extra charger, stuff like that, so I can get productive as well. So yeah, it's multifunctional, not just for photography, but also for other stuff as well. If you are interested in this bag or any other Alpaka product, then check out this affiliate link right here. You will get some discount while at the same time supporting this channel, because I will get some small kickback to help keep this channel running. And that wraps up today's video. So those are all the camera, lenses, equipments that I will carry for my upcoming travel. Hopefully this video has been interesting, entertaining, helpful, and inspiring as well. Hopefully this can help you to come up with your own perfect travel photography camera and lens setup. Anyway, enough about me. What about you? I want to learn from you as well. I want to hear from you. So please comment down below and let's have a little bit of a discussion. What will be your minimalist travel camera and lens setup for your upcoming trip, or just an imaginary kind of trip as well if you're not planning to travel anytime soon. Share down below. I love to hear from you. Anyway, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my work even further, which I will appreciate so much, you can consider joining my Patreon membership. And by becoming a Patreon member, you'll get full access to all of my tutorials, my travel video course, my ebook. You'll get access to my Lightroom preset, exclusive contents, and also being able to download my photos for your phone's background or desktop wallpaper. Also, check out my latest travel video course called Simplifying Travel Photography, where I shared all of my expertise, knowledge about travel photography for more than 12 years. I shot the video in Iceland. It's about 1 minute 40 minutes long, and I think you will enjoy that one. Also, don't forget to use my affiliate links down below. Again, you will get some discounts on select products and services, while at the same time I will get a small kickback to help this channel running, or maybe use the super thanks button to make a small donation to my channel. Thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.